Welcome to Back of the Room. Sitting here with very funny stand-up comedian JC Sibala. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not too much. Thanks for having me back here, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Got some Manhattans here. Hopefully they go down smooth. All right, man. What do you got going on? Been doing any shows lately?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be out in Kansas City in August, as well as Northwest Arkansas in August. Signed up for a lot of festivals. Back in April, I shot my special.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
Saw some clips. It looks good.
Yeah, and just today, I think I found a label.
Nice.
So, had a nice long conversation with one of the record labels I was shopping around. So, supposed to get paperwork sometime later this week.
Nice, man. Congrats.
Thanks. And we're looking at a release date like around mid-October.
Awesome. You got a name for it yet?
Vanilla Pinot.
Okay.
So, yeah. Seeing as how I talk enough about being half Filipino, it's like
yeah, it's a good name. I like it.
Yeah.
I know you also recently got married as well.
Yep. I got
Congrats
married,
on that.
yep,
You're just
earlier this year.
Killing it this year.
A lot of shit going on, man. It's
Yeah. How's married life going for you?
It's great, man. It's we were already living with each other beforehand.
Yeah.
So it felt almost more like a formality than anything. We just wanted to have a big party and make like legally now we're married and stuff, but like I mean we already knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had already moved in and we were already there's really no difference. If you've been living together, nothing really changes.
Yeah. Did you try to sell her on just here's a ring, we could just say we're married?
No.
I didn't imagine you did, but you never know.
Well,
I'm sure some dudes try to pull that move.
I'm sure there are. And I think because, I mean, I was 42, or I am 42, but like, I waited a long time.
Yeah.
To finally, like, even propose to somebody. You know? And it was like one of those things. I waited so long for it, like, that I knew for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm only going to do this once. And, like, I know everybody thinks, and, like, people throw out statistics and everything, but, like, I'm only going to do this once.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's great, man. She's cool for sure. I saw some videos from the honeymoon. That looked like a good time. Where'd you guys go again?
We went down to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, that's right.
Yeah, and the resort had monkeys.
Yeah.
That were up in the trees. And I knew that she wasn't a fan of monkeys, but I didn't know that she had like a phobia, right? Like she completely freaked out.
Yeah, I saw the candid camera video you had set up where she kind of ran in and she's like, oh my God. What did she say? They don't have any morals or something like that?
Yeah.
That was
she's
pretty
like,
good line.
You don't understand, JC. They're so fast and they're crafty and they don't have any morals. I'm like...
She's kind of not wrong. A monkey will fuck you up if they get hold of you.
I mean, yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
So everybody on TikTok was like, yeah, I agree with her. I don't
mess with them. I don't know if I've ever run into a monkey in the wild, but, you know, you got to watch out for them. They're shifty.
They were scaring the shit out of her. Because they were on the front side of where our room was. They were howler monkeys.
Okay.
And so they make like this really loud, kind of terrifying sound. They're just in the trees like she was freaking the fuck out.
That's not the noise I was expecting there.
Oh, they sound so weird.
Yeah. Probably wake you up at all hours, or I don't know. Do they
No,
sleep at night?
The howler monkeys are up during the day.
Okay, well that's good.
So, yeah, I don't remember hearing anything at nighttime.
Well, sounds like a good time. We still got to go on ours, but we got to plan it out still. So doing it like a year later, and we should have just went after. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's nice to have all of it done.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I think we're gonna go to like Hawaii or probably somewhere.
That would be cool.
in
And
the
you guys,
US, so.
did your wedding in Cincinnati.
Yeah. No monkeys or any wild animals to
Right,
deal
right.
with, except for a few of my buddies getting fucked
I
up.
was
But, yeah.
in Cincinnati that weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right. You should have just popped in. We'd be like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Andy said he saw you or he went to your show or something.
Yeah.
I was like, that was weird. You guys should have popped in.
Cincinnati's got a great comedy scene, dude.
Yeah, pretty good.
I really like their comedy scene.
Yeah. Shout out to Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincy.
I know you're from Kansas City originally, that area, right? Was it in the city or kind of outskirts?
On the outskirts.
Okay.
So I was actually from Overland Park.
Okay. I got a buddy that lives in that area now.
Yeah, so about 30 minutes south.
Yeah. Okay.
So on the Kansas side.
Yeah. No, you're a big Chiefs fan.
Of course.
What do you think of all these St. Louis dudes that are adopting the Chiefs?
I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it also kind of feels... So I hated St. Louis Rams fans.
Okay.
Because I came here to St. Louis area. I went to college at Lindenwood in St. Charles in 2000.
Okay.
So they had just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they were fucking obnoxious. And they just weren't good football fans. And I went down to a couple games down to the Dome, and it was more like everybody's trying to dress up and see how cool you could look instead of there to watch football. And I saw like a great game. This was back when, they still had the greatest show on turf.
Yeah. Kurt Warner.
Yeah. They might have had it might have been Bulger at that time.
Yeah.
They might have
they
just
had
switched
like
over.
2 or 3 good years, and then they immediately sucked for another
Yeah.
10. So you got to see a little bit of both, probably.
So yeah, they were really good that year, and San Francisco this was back when San Francisco still had T.O.
Yeah.
So I went to that game down at the Dome, and everybody's just kind of sitting there quietly the whole game. It goes to overtime, and they win on like a 50-yard field goal, right? And then everybody, like, as soon as they won, everybody stood up and goes, yeah, and then starts packing up their stuff and ready to go. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, this was a great game. You guys don't deserve this shit. And apparently somebody else agreed with me.
I'm still bitter. Fucking Kroenke agreed, definitely. But I'm still bitter. I didn't really go to many games or anything, but I watched on TV all the time. I was always a fan. But, yeah, it just doesn't feel right for me to cheer for the Chiefs. Like, I know a lot of people do. I don't root against them.
I respect
that.
that.
No, nothing against them. Like, they're great. Yeah. Like, they've been great for 5 years or whatever. But
well, I think what turns, especially here in St. Louis, what turns people off about Chiefs fans is are people that were Rams fans that adopted the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs just happened to get good.
Yeah.
So now they're acting like they've been diehards the whole time.
Yeah,
that pisses people off.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, you're not a real fan, dude. Like you weren't there.
You had to drive 4 hours to get to this game, not like half an hour or 5 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. More power to them. I don't have anything against them, but I just something's off about trying to I can't adopt them.
I get it.
I'll take another team here or cheer for the Battlehawks at this point, I guess. But
I think let's see, if I was a St. Louis fan and I was like the Rams just left, what team would I would probably adopt a team. Now, granted, Kansas City is a different conference, so I guess that makes sense.
It's in the same state. That's what a lot of people say. They're over in Kansas City and Missouri. I'm supporting Missouri. I'm like, all right, whatever.
I probably would have gone for the Titans or Indianapolis as opposed to, because there's it feels like some sort of like a rivalry between St. Louis and Kansas City. So it didn't feel feels unnatural. Like if the shoe was on the other foot, right?
Yeah.
If the Chiefs had left Kansas City and St. Louis had stayed, I probably would have gone for an NFC team but like it would have been. I probably would have gone Green Bay.
Okay.
I probably would have gone Green Bay as my new team that I adopted.
It was just convenient. They're like, oh, the Rams left. The Chiefs are awesome. I mean, whatever. People are gonna do what they're gonna do. I don't give a shit. I go Cardinals, Blues, and then I root for the Bulls because we don't have a basketball team, and Jordan was awesome. So it's close. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Tech 9 fan.
I grew up liking Tech 9. I don't keep up with it.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's pretty awesome. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard a lot of his newer stuff, but college, everybody was bumping Tech 9.
Yeah.
I went to UCM.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The song Let's Get Fucked Up was huge when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then, what was the other one that was really big at the time?
Caribou Lou was pretty popular.
That came a little bit later, I think.
Or I'm a Playa.
I did not like that one. where he's doing the Amadeus. Like, I'm a player. I don't
know. He had to get some kind of cease and desist on that one, didn't he? Or royalty, I guess, or something probably.
He probably had to pay a royalty.
It was worth it, though. I like that song. I know it's pretty...
I liked Planet Rock 2000.
Okay.
There's at one point he takes his name and he makes it sound like Friday the 13th, but he's like tech 999. I thought that was cool as fuck.
That's pretty cool, man. I want to see him live. I've never seen him live. He was at the Factory, and I didn't go. I should have went and seen him. But shout out to Tech 9. Come on the podcast.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah. Let's get into some comedy questions here. I know you've been doing it quite a while.
Yep.
Did you start doing it here or in Kansas City?
I started here.
Okay. At Funny Bone?
I had signed up at Funny Bone for 6 weeks and didn't get on.
They weren't doing the old first time thing back then?
Not as much. It was a different time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of established comedians at the time. A lot of them have since quit comedy. But we used to have a bar open mic called O'Malley's.
Okay.
So that's where I actually had my first time. It was June 6th, 2011.
No, the date even. Okay.
Yep. It was fucking horrible. I was so bad, and it was just humiliating, just excruciating, especially because it was all comedians.
Yeah.
And you don't know how long anybody's been doing it. So everybody's sitting there watching you, not laughing, and you just feel all these other comedians judging you, and they're all laughing for their friends.
Yeah.
And they were just all kind of like, who the fuck is... first of all, I was bad. I was really bad.
Bar mics can be always tough, you know? So that's a tough start. But I
also wasn't friends with anybody, so nobody... I wasn't getting, pity laughs and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. And then the second, I guess you kept doing it, started coming here and stuff, and then kind of just...
yeah.
I mean, after going to that first one and then finally getting on here, you would have been even if there was 10 people here, you'd been like, oh, that was
way easier.
That was better. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Whenever you see somebody do their first time here, right? I would say especially here, they usually bring a lot of their friends.
Yeah.
So they're guaranteed to get on. All their friends are going to laugh to support. And they're going to walk out thinking they crushed it.
Yep.
Those are the people that always quit after they bomb.
Yeah, I mean, the second time is going to be a wake-up call for sure. I mean, you kind of had the opposite. Your first one was rough, and then you kind of had some better ones, but...
Yeah. My second one was worse.
Well...
My second was worse, dude. It was...
You never know, but yeah.
Because you, I always tell people, in order to pursue this, you have to have... You have to be a little insane. I call it delusions of grandeur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like, yeah, I'm funny. I can make strangers laugh. You have to be a little insane to think that.
Oh, for sure.
And so after my first one, when I bombed, I was like, yeah, I was just nervous. And I was like, I knew that could happen, but now I've done it. So now I know what to expect.
Yeah.
So now I was like, I'll be much better next week. I came back the next week, and it was so much fucking worse. It was so bad, dude.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I did it first time here, bombed, didn't do it again for 2 more years. Second time it went well because I wrote and prepared more. But yeah, man, that was.
I almost quit after my second time.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that people ever do because it's such a wake up call of holy fuck, this is hard.
Yeah.
It's just insane, music is hard.
Yeah.
There's great bands out there. You got to be really talented to play music. But
the nice thing about being in a band is if you're up there bombing as a band, you at least have your bandmates.
Yeah.
There's some solidarity there. You're not going through it alone.
Yeah.
And you could have somebody that's really good in your band that covers up a lot of mistakes for you fucking up, right?
Yeah, and even if it's not going amazing,
yeah,
a band's really got to suck for the whole crowd to start booing them.
Yeah,
oh, these guys are okay, but oh, they're not dancing. If you're not getting laughs in comedy, you're dying. So just getting someone to
you're just
laugh
up there,
out loud,
standing in silence with everybody looking at you. A fucking spotlight, just a dark room and a fucking spotlight right on you, and it's just torture.
Yeah. What are we doing, JC? What are we doing?
But yeah.
Yeah, man. It's cruel mistress, but I love her.
Yep.
What's your writing process like? Do you sit down and write? Do you do some stuff on stage? What are you doing these days?
A little bit of both. I don't do pen to pad as much anymore.
Okay.
But what I will do is, let's say inspiration strikes, because you never know when it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a joke. So I will text myself the bullet points of it. And then after I've rolled it around for a little bit, so I could, if I can't sit there and work on it right at that moment, I'll text myself the bullet points, and then, let's say I'm driving or something, I'll just pull up a compose email, right, and I'll just put it on talk to text, and I will talk out the joke so that it gets all the words down.
Okay.
Just kind of dictating it.
Yeah.
And then I'll save it as a draft, and when I come back to it later, I'll add the punctuation and all that stuff. Then I'll start cutting things out or adding new things into it and kind of write out a joke. But then after I've done that, then I strip it back down to just essentially bullet points of what I had just written out. And that's what I'll try to memorize and then go up on stage and tell it. Then I record every time I'm doing that new joke, and I do what people call writing from stage from there. Because a lot of times it's the telling of the joke that where you're not expecting exactly where it's going, so then you start saying some shit off the cuff. I'm like, it sounds way better when I do it that way. It sounds more natural because that's how my instinct to get from A to B. That's the nice thing about the bullet point thing.
Yeah. Where
it's not completely scripted. You're just looking okay, here was the last word I said. I need to get to that word, and you're going to speak more naturally. So.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good process. Everybody's got a different way of doing it for sure. I thought when you said you pulled out your phone, you were just going to be texting the whole time.
No.
Voice to text is the way to go for sure.
For sure. That way I at least get the verbiage down.
Sometimes I've done it where oh, you think of something, you don't do it immediately, and it's just gone forever. You're like, God damn it.
Early on, I used to have a little voice recorder, like a small one, a portable one, before before they were on an app on a phone.
Yeah.
So or before they were just kind of stock on a phone.
Yeah.
And because I had a minimum hour commute one way every day, so that's 2 hours in the car because I was going from downtown St. Louis out to O'Fallon, Missouri to work. I would just record any jokes that I had.
Okay.
I would just talk into it, and then I'd go back and listen to it, and then transcribe it. And I've been able to cut out a lot of those steps just by hitting talk to text.
Yeah, it sounds like you've upgraded
nice.
For sure. Technology's
so much
nice
nicer.
Sometimes, yeah. Who are some of your favorite comedians? Like top or like top 3?
Are we talking alive or are we talking all time?
I'd say all time.
Okay, so my all-time top 3 is pretty chalk.
Okay.
So I go Pryor, Carlin, Chappelle. Those are. I mean, that's pretty chalk.
Yeah, but there's
right?
nothing wrong with that. I mean, they are 3 of the best.
Yeah. And then like kind of everything else becomes kind of fluid when you get into like 4 through 10.
Yeah.
Right? Because
it changes too. You'd be like, oh,
your taste
this
change.
new one is good or that
or
old
like,
one.
Like it used to be my number 4 was for sure Russell Peters, right? But like, you know, his material changes and then I've changed as far as my comedic sensibilities. So, and then you take into things like body of work. I mean, that's what dropped Eddie Murphy out of my top 10 fairly early on because he only did 2 specials.
Yeah.
Right? Still brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? But
I thought he was talking about coming back, wasn't he? Like a few years ago, doing it.
Yeah,
but I don't.
He was talking about it. He might have just gone up and done a couple sets, but like this is the kind of thing where you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah,
and
it would have to be good too. If he came back after 30 years, it couldn't suck, or everybody would just be like.
I think he was 27.
I don't even
on
know,
his last
but it's
one.
Yeah, it's been forever.
I think Raw he was 27. I think he was 22 when Delirious came out.
Okay.
I think it was I don't know the exact numbers, but like if you haven't done it since like
he'd have to work it out a long time, but I'd like to see it, but he'd have to like go to clubs and tour probably for a while before you could get back into it.
Yeah.
But there's new Beverly Hills Cop apparently, so
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
I'll check it out,
I mean, I did not like. So I love like one of my favorite movies, the first Beverly Hills Cop, and I really like Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah,
that one was directed by Tony Scott. So like, it's funny when you like a lot of people don't watch 2 or 3, right? Because 3 it's pretty terrible. Like it lost its magic by 3.
I can't remember 3. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like he's in an amusement park. It's
yeah, it doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
But we'll check out the new one.
But 2 is really good, but it is distinctly different visually because then it's a Tony Scott film and it's still like a Bruckheimer film, so it's got like that Bruckheimer sheen, like Top Gun and Days of Thunder and all so,
of that time or whatever. Yeah. Right on.
Basically stuff that evolved into what became Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I liked a lot of those movies back in the day. They need to have more, like, I saw Furiosa. Did you see that?
I haven't
Mad
seen
Max?
it yet.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was as good as the
Fury
newer,
Road.
Fury Road, but it was all right. It's worth watching. So I like movies like that are.
I can only do so much apocalypse stuff,
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of tuned out on Walking Dead for a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back into it just to finish it because I was like 2 seasons away from finishing it, but it was just like it's really good. Like the first 5 seasons are great, but then it kind of drifted off, and I'm just trying to get through it now. So whatever. Fuck the apocalypse. It's not going to happen or anything. Nothing terrible's going on right now.
Did you watch Last of Us?
I haven't seen that yet.
That was great.
I need to watch that. Molly hates zombies and any kind of like scary movies.
I'm not a big fan of zombie shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it, but I heard that one was good.
Yeah.
But last comedy question here. Any good comedy advice you've got over the years from like a headliner or somebody that you kind of held on to?
Yeah. So this one, like, I used to go on the road and I would ask the headliner and the feature for advice that people gave them instead of asking them to give me advice.
Yeah, that's a little less annoying for sure for
I'd be,
them.
I'd be like, what was the best advice somebody gave you?
Yeah.
And one of them was Patrice O'Neal had told this comedian, know the difference between them not laughing and not listening. Like,
that's good advice.
Yeah. And that was one that really did stick with me in terms of as long as they're listening to you, you can make them laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you get them to a point where they're talking with each other or yelling shit at you, then you've really lost the crowd.
You got problems. And even in a moment, if you take a pause,
mm-hmm.
you still might be listening if they're not laughing, if maybe you're trying to do something. But yeah, knowing the difference, that's great advice.
Yep.
Patrice is a great one too, man. R.I.P. But
he was great.
Yeah, that's good advice. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back with more JC Sibala, everybody. All right, we're back. Sitting here with JC Sibala, talking comedy in the back of the room.
Yep.
No, you did Kill Tony a few years back. I remember that at the old Helium, I believe. What was that experience like for you?
That was really nerve-wracking because I think the way he does it now is he pulls and then he gives it to somebody. They go grab a comedian and they wait. Come up next.
I think that's probably right.
But at that time, it was they pull the bucket, your name gets called, and if you're not up there within a certain amount of time, they just move on to the next one. So you don't know if you're going to get called.
Yeah.
And then if the moment you do,
you just have to go.
You're just fucking going.
Yeah.
You have no prep. Like basically, it's already hard enough doing a minute.
Yeah.
A 1 minute set is hard. It sucks.
Yeah.
Especially if you're somebody who, has longer jokes anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like all of a sudden, all right, we're getting into it. Like I don't even like that at open mics.
Like, oh, we're just gonna do a bucket. I'm like, fuck. Like, if you got a list, at least like, oh, okay, I'm going in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, okay, so we started doing a bucket at the Wild Card open mic.
All right.
But we would tell comics 2 or 3 comics ahead.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that way you're not just going up.
Yeah.
Right. But the reason why we started doing it is because comics have a tendency to just leave the room and go dick around.
Yeah.
And just shoot the shit with their buddies and stuff. And it kind of hurts the atmosphere of an open mic.
Yeah.
Right. So when we start doing a bucket, more people stay in the room.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, but Kill Tony, man, can you believe just how big it is now? It's fucking crazy huge. How they're, I guess it's weekly, right, in Austin, and then they travel to like arenas and shit. It's insane.
I mean, he's really worked his ass off to build his own audience. Super nice guy. Like, he seems like he would be a dick.
I remember seeing you guys out at a bar. Like, we were at the Grove, and you're like, hey, it's Tony. I was like, hey, what's up, man? Like, yeah. I mean, for the audience that doesn't know. So when he was going on tour, while Kill Tony this was 2019, and it had already kind of blown up a little bit, but not like what it is now. Yeah.
So he would go on tour, and he would do shows, like 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, or whatever. But the Thursday night before that, at that club, he would do a filming of Kill Tony. And while he was doing that, going around from city to city, he would, I don't know if he did it every time, but a lot of times he would pick somebody to come open for the rest of the week for him. And so I was the guy that was selected.
Yeah. So, I remember you did great on there, man. And that's just a tough scenario, you know?
Yeah.
Like even now, I mean, whatever, you just never know. Like, who are they going to like? Who are they not going to like? You got a minute. Like, I do even shorter jokes, but I would still be worried about how many to do, how whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm sure it's so tough to even get on there now. Like, there's probably people signing up every week, or I don't even know.
There's that, but I think, like, I think you have to pay to go to the show, and it, like, sells out, like, a month in advance or something. This is what I've heard. I don't know this for sure because I haven't tried to go down to Austin to do it. But like Zach Bukovich, he's been on it. He's a St. Louis transplant in Austin. I haven't seen Ronaldo on there yet, but I assume now that he's
gonna try.
Yeah,
it's wild, man. But just like, I think some of the guys that are regulars on there are funny, but like sometimes they'll have somebody they do good, but it's like a minute, and they'll be booking shows all over the place. I'm like, are they looking into more than just that minute, or is it so popular that they're booking this person off of 1 minute?
No, it's usually from what I can tell, it's somebody that becomes a regular on the show.
Yeah,
and then they'll start letting those people have longer than a minute sets, and they become really popular. And to be honest, a lot of people don't even book. They don't even give a fuck about your material. There's a lot of bookers.
They're gonna bring people.
They don't know if you've got the time or not. They don't care. You got this many followers on TikTok. Okay, well then I know that people are gonna come out to watch your show.
Yep. So follow Back of the Room on TikTok is the moral of that story. We talked about Wild Card for a second. I'm going to be doing the show next week, I believe.
Yeah.
This probably won't be out before then, but, check it out if you're in the St. Louis area. It's an ongoing show.
Our Instagram, that's usually where we post our stuff is Instagram, even though we've got a Facebook and we actually have a YouTube page. We just don't post anything publicly with it.
I gotcha.
But it's at Wildcard Comedy.
Okay, cool.
So that's if you want to go check out a show.
Yeah, check it out.
But you're going to be on the 11th.
That's the plan, man.
You nervous?
I don't know. I mean, I remember doing it back in the day at old Crow's Nest.
You're a vet, man. Like, nothing really shakes you at this point.
No, I don't think so. It's a unique show for sure because, you never know what card you're going to get or this or that, and did you come up with the rules, or how did you come up with the card system of?
So, back in 2014, Chris Sear and I were talking. We had talked about putting an open mic together. Just kind of developed organically because I had been wanting to start a show, and then he and I started talking. He's like, "I know some places you could do it. I've been wanting to, but at the time he was like, but I'm pretty new, so I don't know what to do on it." I was like, cool, we'll do it together. And so we started it in Maplewood. And then he was like, I want to do a comedy wheel. Right? And like he was going to build one. I was like,
Wheel of Fortune style, or like the spinning? Okay.
So like you see that a lot.
Yeah.
Like comedy wheels where people will spin and then they've got to do 2 extra minutes or they got to do clean material. So I wasn't opposed to that, but I didn't want to be locked into the same categories every week or whatever. So I started thinking about the game Circle of Death, or some people call it Kings. It's just a drinking game. And
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Very familiar.
But like everywhere you go and play it,
a couple different rules.
Everybody's got different rules for it.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, we could take that idea and apply what you're wanting to accomplish with the comedy wheel, and we can switch out the categories, or we can tweak it without fucking up our comedy wheel.
Yeah.
Right. And the first few times we did it, I would say for probably the first month, we used to actually go print them out, like the Circle of Death rules.
Okay.
So we'd have to go get them printed and put them on like an easel. They'd be on this big poster board kind of thing.
The Kinko's bills probably got a little too high after a while.
Well, in the first place we were doing it didn't really have a setup like for AV.
Okay.
And then that place ended up shutting down within a few months of us being there. And so then we, the owner, one of the owners of Blind Tiger, which is where we started it, was also the owner of Crow's Nest. And he was like, hey, I like what you guys are doing. Why don't you come do that down at my bar down the street? And we went down there, and it is not a good setup for an open mic because it's a shotgun bar, right? And, like, because doing a bar show is hard enough.
Yeah.
But then when it's a shotgun bar, that means the length of the bar is going the whole length of the
like
venue.
Seating area, to the
so you
left
got people,
there,
it's like loud and it's rowdy, and there's a bunch of people coming in that are like, what the fuck is going, like, why are these people trying to talk on a microphone, right?
Yeah.
Just people that came there for a drink. And then it was really supported by the community at the time because it was something that was new and it was different. And then it became kind of a staple of St. Louis comedy. We ran it as an open mic weekly for, let's see, 2020 is when we took our break for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So at that point, we'd been going about 7 years. And then we ran it for 2 more as a weekly open mic once we opened back up. And then after that, it was like, I can't do this weekly anymore. So then I started doing I started switching it over into just a showcase. And then I was like, I still miss the open mic energy of it. So now we do it as a monthly open mic at Platypus and a monthly showcase. Well, sometimes it's monthly. It's just kind of sporadic when we do the showcase. But
yeah, man, it was always fun, back in the day at the bar too, and I'm looking forward to it here. So, anything I should know beforehand, or just kind of remember how it was?
Well, okay, so you're probably doing a 15-minute set. I don't have it mapped out yet, but I'm guessing that's about what it'll be. We're going to ask you to pull 3 cards throughout that time.
All righty.
It's usually best to pull a card right when you start to get it out of the way.
You wouldn't want to do them all at the end.
No, and it's like a lot of people do more than 3 cards anyway. So like some people will just go up and we've had comics go through an entire deck. Because they pull a card, they tell a joke with the challenge attached to it. Like they might have to do it without a microphone. That might be the challenge attached to that card they pull. So then they do that joke. Then we take a drink. That's the drinking game portion of the show. And then they'll immediately pull another card. And they're pulling, 10, 11, 12 cards sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
you
always
don't have
fun.
To.
Yeah, I always kind of did it by feel. I'd like do one, and if it went well, I'd kind of pick a few more, or maybe if I had some stuff to work on, do less. But there's definitely some strategy involved. But thanks for letting me do it, and I'm looking forward to it, man. So it should be good. Got a segment for you.
Okay.
Don't know. I think we might have done this one once before. Just throwing all these segments out randomly. It's called "What the Fuck Are We Doing Here?" So basically, we're just going to throw out something we've seen out in the world, something we don't really care for, or whatever it could be, and just figure out what the fuck we're doing here. You want to start it off? You want me to?
I can start it off.
All right.
So something that I notice all the time, and I'm okay with just regular people doing this, but it kind of irritates me when I see people that I know are comedians or at least are pursuing comedy as a career, posting other people's memes or jokes or whatever. Like, instead of just, like, you've got the option to, like, share usually on the platform, on whatever platform you're using, there's an option to share it.
Yeah.
Right? So that the original creator gets some kind of credit for it, but like to make it look like you did this is like, what the, like, what the fuck, like,
what the fuck are we doing here?
You're supposed to be like funny and original on your own,
yeah.
Like, but like,
And also, we've seen this meme 5 other times by 5 other people, and we know it wasn't you.
Like, just share it, man. Yeah. Just share it.
Yeah. Memes are not... I mean, they can be funny.
Yeah. It doesn't... Like I said, it doesn't bug me. It doesn't bug me when it's just a normal person, right? But when you're supposed to be, hey, I'm a funny... Like, if you're pursuing comedy, that means I think I'm funny.
Yeah.
So then fucking prove it and stop using other people's shit.
I agree, man. Joke theft adjacent, for sure.
Or just like screenshots of other people's. Now, I'll say that sometimes I do that, but I also put like, I don't know who did this.
Yeah.
I don't know who made this. It just made me laugh.
Yeah.
And it was like on Twitter, so I couldn't share it. I could retweet it, but I couldn't share it on Facebook or something. So then I'd have to screenshot it or whatever and make sure that their handle's on there and all that stuff. But
one of the worst, I don't know if the worst, but it wasn't good. I got a heckle one time that was this shitty bar mic. Everybody was bombing. I went up there, wasn't doing well. This fucking lady in the back was just on her phone talking and the worst. And then she said, I wish this was more like memes. I'm like, fuck you, lady. Like, I'm up here trying my best, and you're looking at memes on your phone actively. So, fuck that lady and fuck memes. What the fuck are we doing here? I got one for you.
All right.
You know, shitting in public is never fun. You know, the bathrooms are always gross. You go to a gas station, it's never a good time.
It depends on the gas station.
Most of the time.
But yeah, I agree with you, yeah.
So that's usually guaranteed that it's not going to be great.
I don't know that any type of shitting is technically fun. Just a necessity.
I prefer a home game, though. I don't like it.
That's
be
true.
Out there.
You can have your preferences, but it's not like you're going like, man, I don't have to right now, but I wish I could shit.
I don't think I've ever seen a bathroom out in public where I'm like, oh man, I wish
I could use that
this right now. But in my experience, I'm driving a lot around for work. Just got to go into some.
Maybe it's an expensive toilet with a bidet or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try it out, but I haven't ran across that yet. But usually not great. Some gas station or Burger King or who the fuck knows. So you know it's going to be bad. But what I've been experiencing now is stall doors that are way too fucking short. I'm already in this gross bathroom, and now I got people coming in, and they can just kind of look over and be like, oh, there's a guy shitting. I'm trying to have some privacy here. I'm going to put out 2 examples. The QT in Wentzville, top of the door, about 6 foot tall. I'm about 6'2". So I could just, if I wanted to, just tippy-toe it over the top.
If you wanted to.
If I wanted to. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
But other people could do that while I'm shitting.
True.
It's weird. Also,
I would need stilts.
This one you can probably
I
see
would really have to want to.
Diamond Music Hall in St. Peter's. 5 foot tall.
Oh, yeah. I could clear that.
Yeah, you could see over that. And you walk in, and they're right there. So you're just like, not even trying to look, but you're just like, what the fuck? It's just like plywood and not... It's terrible. So way too short of doors.
That's a place I probably wouldn't shit. A bar.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Especially
want to.
a bar.
I don't want to do it at any of these, but I'm pretty sure I have IBS now, and I just have to go when I got to go. So it's a lot of Diamond Music Halls and Quick Trips and these places. And also, I was in a different, shittier gas station recently. Went in there. The only stall they had, the lock was broken.
Oh, God, yeah.
It was empty at the time, but I started shitting. I'm like, fuck, I hope somebody doesn't walk in here. This old dude walked directly in, didn't look under the stall, didn't do anything, and then just gave me the old, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, I didn't even say that. I didn't have time. I'm just like, shut the door, please.
I don't get on the floor, but I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm not trying to walk in on somebody.
It was a bad angle. It was like more of like kind of... the shitter was this way and the door was this way, so we just walked directly in to the door. And then I told the fucking guy at the counter, I was like, hey, man, like, your stall door's broken. Some dude just walked in on me. He's like, oh, yeah, they need to fix that.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
What the fuck are we doing?
It's kind of one of the most important locks in your building here, dickhead. So what the fuck are we doing here? Fix your stall doors, height, and locks, please. That's a segment. I don't know. We're just throwing shit out here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything you got coming up? Anything you want to promote?
I mean, yeah, just follow me and Wildcard. So
yeah, you got a different Instagram handle for you, right?
Yeah. So all of my socials are at JC Sibala. So
that's a good handle.
So anytime, yeah, I don't like to put like comedian JC Sibala or anything like that.
I almost got mine, but I had to go C in the middle. Jimmy C Day.
Yeah. So anytime there's a new one that comes out, I try to nail that handle immediately. So that the only one I wasn't able to do it was on YouTube. So my YouTube channel is like at the JC Sibala. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
But not like I post a ton there anyway, but
yeah. Well, make sure you check out JC, everybody. Hit him with the special name again. Make sure you check it out when it comes out later this year.
Vanilla Pinot. It'll be in October.
Awesome, man. Well, it's great that you got the special rolling. You got all this stuff going. Looking forward to the show. But thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man.
Wrap things up, and thanks for watching and listening to the Back of the Room podcast.
All right.